Thank you, Dr. Chen. Informative discussion on energy poverty eradication from different perspectives as contributed by the various speakers, moderated by Dr. Chen. It's encouraging to see the positive development happening in the region. From energy poverty eradication, we move to a conversation on what is possible with surplus renewable energy. How do we expand our footprint for a shared renewable energy future? What are the tools we need to accelerate this agenda? For this, allow me to introduce Mr. Ting Zung. Mr. Ting is Executive Vice President of Strategy and Corporate Development of Sarawak Energy. He leads the development strategies for sustainable business growth and heads the implementation of strategic plans to achieve the group's overall goals. Mr. Ching is also the forefront of supporting Sarawak's green energy agenda. He was instrumental in the establishment of Sarawak Integrated Hydrogen Production Plant and Refueling Station in 2019, which is the first facility of its kind in Southeast Asia, as well as the rollout of our first Renewable Energy Certificate, or REC, in Malaysia in the same year. Today, Sarawak is Malaysia's largest renewable energy developer and producer as a result of its focus on hydropower. And Mr. Ting will share with us how Sarawak Energy is looking at further expanding Sarawak's renewable energy footprint beyond generating. Before we have an in-depth discussion with Mr. Ting, let's watch the Expanding Sarawak's Renewable Energy Footprint video. Hello, Mr. Ting.
Hi, Freda.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. I'm very excited to hear what you've got to say. As you know, Sarawak is my home state. So tell us a little bit about Sarawak Energy's journey in driving renewable energy development in Sarawak.
Okay. I think this is all back to the leadership. I will consider myself to be lucky as I've been able to lead from Tan Sri Aziz to Dato Tostan to currently Dato Syabini. They are all having the same target, same aspiration as how we can actually drive the economy of Sarawak through renewable energy. And I think the whole state we are lucky in the sense that we have the abundant rainfall and network of rivers that give us the advantage of developing hydropower. So, like I mentioned earlier, all the three leaders of me, they are quite consistent in believing that energy is a substance of everything for development. So with what we have in our abundant rainfall, decided to move into especially hydropower development. That has actually created an opportunity to work together with the state government for what we call SCORE, the Sarawak Corridor of Renewable Energy, whereby we are able to invite various investors from international to invest in Sarawak. I think to date we have been able to attract billions-dollar of investment coming into Sarawak, and we have also moved from back then 90 plus over percent of generation mix to currently 70% of Sarawak generation mix is of hydropower. Of course,
Right.
the other 30% is supported by natural gas and coal fire. This is to make sure that we have sustainable, reliable, and security of power supply to the rakyat of Sarawak. Yeah,
Right. Okay. So the energy mix of, you were saying 70%.
currently, yes. Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay. And no, we are seeing that Sarawak Energy has put a high priority on expanding Sarawak's renewable energy footprint. Why have you focused so much on this? And would you mind to elaborate a little more on these initiatives?
I think, as we all know, hydropower is the most sustainable, especially large-scale hydropower is the most sustainable and cheapest power available in this industry. And under the leadership, we wanted to attract, intensive energy player to come to Sarawak and invest. And the only power that they are affordable is hydropower. So we have actually taken hydropower as our primary hydro supply in Sarawak. So other than that, we are also looking today at the other various alternatives of green energy power, such as solar, such as, we are also doing some study on hydrogen, etc., etc. So if we talk about hydropower, of course, currently, like I mentioned earlier, we have 70% of our gen mix consists of hydropower. Now we are looking at solar. Yeah, as we know, if we want to develop 1 megawatt solar, it will require a land size of approximately 2.5 acres. 2.5 acres is approximately 2 football fields. Yeah.
Right.
So under the current leadership of Dr. Shabini, we are thinking of why don't we combine our hydropower station with solar, meaning floating solar. By doing floating solar, I think this is one of the very innovative solutions that Dr. Shabini has actually proposed, because without chopping down trees on land of 2.8 acres per megawatt, we are able to make use of our existing hydropower water body, which means we are consolidating hydropower and solar power together. There's a very simple layman concept about this. We can preserve the water when there's sunlight. So we can release the power, especially in the evening. So this is a very good combination. Number one, it's a combination between solar and storage of energy. Number two, we are avoiding cutting down all the trees and building solar panel on land. So I think this is one of the very good initiatives that our CEO has actually bring into the system. But of course, we all know that solar power are quite intermittent. Yeah. So it will, in a certain way, it will disturb the security or the consistency of the network system. So we are also now in the process of studying into battery storage, or any kind of storage can support the intermittent of solar power coming into the system. Yeah. So we are now doing a pilot project about 60 megawatt in the state of Sarawak to see how battery system can actually enhance the network system for the whole supply chain in Sarawak. Yeah. So we are targeting to launch this or to award this battery project by the end of this year or early next year. This is a pilot project, and at the same time, we are also looking into the combination between floating solar and batteries, and see whether batteries, it come with situations whereby in maybe 10 years time, batteries have a lifespan. So we also need to look into how we can reduce the cost of battery, and at the same time, how we are going to tackle the reuse or recycle or recover battery into something useful. So these are some studies that we are now currently working with our partners.
Right.
Of course, then we talk about hydrogen expansion. Okay, hydrogen, we like the video show earlier, we have done the first pilot project in Southeast Asia, combining the generation and refueling station together. Yeah. So, but currently the production cost of hydrogen is still on the high side, but we actually see the reduction of the price over time. So we are working with the state government, with SETC, which is a state entity, and also some partner from Japan, Petronas, to study how we can bring down the cost curve of hydrogen. And hopefully, hydrogen one day can become another form of energy carrier or energy
Right.
storage to support solar as well. Yeah. Then, of course, the other thing we have established is renewable energy certificate. This in the sense that renewable energy certificate itself is a venue for industry players to support the production of green energy. Yeah. So this all, I believe, together with the state and the authority and the leadership, we are trying to expand the footprint of renewable energy in Sarawak and to contribute to the environmental issue that everyone is concerned at the moment. Yeah.
Right. If we have time, we might address some questions from the audience. We'll see. I know running a bit of out of time, but I have some questions as well, right? You talk about the Borneo grid. This is under the synergy between hydro and solar. Can you elaborate a little bit about the Borneo grid and what it hopes to achieve?
Okay. Actually, what we are trying to learn is, for example, in Europe country, they are 100%, for example, Norway, they are 100% depending on hydropower. And like I have mentioned earlier, here, 70% of our power from hydropower, we still have 30% from thermal power, which is natural gas and coal-fired power plant, to avoid during the drought seasons. But why it can achieve in Europe country, because they have interconnection between country to country. Then the network, the interconnection actually perform as a battery or as a storage for another country. Yeah. Right. So this is why when our CEO first report to duty, he has this ambition of achieving Borneo grid, in the sense that maybe Borneo by itself, if we are interconnected, then during emergency time especially, then the interconnection will help to stabilize the network system in one particular country. In this effort, back in 2016, we managed to export our first power to Indonesia West, Kalimantan West. And currently, we are also in discussion with Brunei, and we have signed a PPA with Sabah to extend our power or interconnection with Sabah, targeting 2023 or 2024. And at this point in time, why Borneo grid? Because the hydro potential in Borneo is actually very good. Not just Sarawak, but North Kalimantan also, they have a very huge hydropower potential. So we are also, because of our experience in developing Bakun, Murun, and also Batang Air hydropower plant, we have been invited to become the partner in North Kalimantan to develop their first hydropower in Kalimantan. So if we can connect Kalimantan, if we can connect Sabah, Brunei, and West Kalimantan, which we have done so, and we are also now in the process, like our Chief Minister has announced a few months ago, that we are in discussion the possibility of exporting power to Singapore. So in a way, we are playing a small part in the overall Asian grid, that one day, if we can be interconnected, then our dependency on thermal generation can be reduced. Then we can be even more, I call green, in our overall utility system.
Right. So sustainable, not just in terms of taking care of the environment, but sustainable in terms of making sure that we're independent as a business as well. I mean, looking at it from that we're able to run independently, right? You mentioned a little bit about the energy storage system, and this is a pilot project which is in the Sejingkat coal-fired power plant, right? And tell us, maybe you can elaborate a little bit more about it. I'm very intrigued.
Okay, this is especially to take care of the intermittent renewable energy for solar, because solar bounds to be a major resources of renewable energy in the future. So we are just trying our various sources how we can take care of the issue of intermittent. So energy storage has been quite long in the technologies, so it is not a rocket science actually. But with battery coming into the picture, it can actually stabilize the intermittent brought by solar system. So with energy storage like battery, of course, battery is not the only storage solution, but battery is the maybe at this point in time is the most available, or most established storage system that we can immediately take from. That's why we are exploring this as a pilot project and see the purpose is actually how we can increase or improve solar power into our system. Yeah.
Right. You talked about the renewable energy certificate, right, which is a globally recognized mechanism for renewable energy sourcing and tracking, right? And this is something that Sarawak Energy has launched. Can you also just elaborate a little bit more and the significance of what it means for renewable energy?
Transition towards low carbon economy will also require a credible mechanism of renewable energy user to report and track their renewable energy commitment. So that's why in 2019, when we have our first SAREF 1.0, we have actually launched our first renewable energy certificate. It is a globally recognized mechanism for renewable energy sourcing and tracking. So this REC serves as a mechanism for credible purchase of renewable energy generated in Sarawak. Currently, we have actually pushed to the market only the hydro REC, but if we are more successful in solar in the future, then we will also introduce to the market the solar renewable energy certificate. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Maybe you can also just, I wouldn't say this is closing remarks. I do have some questions in addition, but, if we would talk about, your thoughts moving forward, what's happened around the world, what are your thoughts around this?
Okay, I think especially I will say back to Sarawak. Currently, we are already 70% supported by hydropower generation. Our target is we will be maintaining at least 60% or above of our generation mix in hydropower. Of course, our intention of, like I mentioned earlier, bringing in the combination of solar and hydro is definitely a direction that we are exploring. Hydrogen, how we can bring down the cost curve of hydrogen is something that we are still ongoing and study. Because we have hydropower, it itself is a green energy resources already. So if we can put some study, especially together with Petronas and other established organizations, we are looking at how we can use electrolysis process to produce hydrogen. Then the hydrogen being produced will be a pure green hydrogen that be used globally. Then also we focus on renewable energy certificate. This is to encourage those people to sponsor the production of green renewable energy. So we have a holistic approach and plan towards how to sustain the development of renewable energy. But I think within Sarawak itself, we will be very, in the next few years, we will try to see some achievement, especially in floating solar combined with storage technology, and also looking into what are the benefits in terms of commercial and in terms of environmental impact that can bring to the state and our neighboring country.
Right. And if you think about where Sarawak Energy will play in the Southeast Asian place, what are your thoughts around this?
I think I mentioned earlier, if we can work together with Kalimantan, especially I have mentioned also Kalimantan North, their potential of hydropower is also very huge. So I think Sarawak Energy together, if the partnership with Kalimantan North is successful, Borneo Island itself can be a battery of Southeast Asia. So we can talk about interconnection with Singapore. We can also talk about interconnection with Philippines and West Malaysia. So this will form a small grid apart from Asian grid. So this will not just increase the GDP growth for Sarawak itself. This will also bring the renewable energy to our regional player or our neighboring country in Singapore, in Sabah, in Philippines. So I think this is meaningful, not just in GDP growth, but also to bring a huge environmental impact, not just to Sarawak, but also to our neighboring country.
Right. Just a final thought from you, Mr. Ting, moving forward, right? We've been faced by this pandemic, right? What are some of the things that we're going to do to ensure that regardless of whatever's going on, right, we're moving forward and that we'll progress as planned?
Utility is something essential for everyone to live. Yeah. And based on the data and the past histories data, a country for developing, definitely they will need the support of power energy. So that's why I think the leadership, under the current leadership of exploring the potential of hydrogen, exporting hydrogen, exporting power to our neighboring country, these are definitely some positive impact to the economic that has been impacted by COVID in the past 2 years. So every development is supported by power industry. So I believe, especially today, we talk about environmentally friendly renewable energy. So I believe, for development, power play a key role in this. So to bring back the economic after the impact of COVID-19, we will have to make sure that our generation, our system network, our collaboration with our neighboring country is enforced and is working in the right directions.
Right. In your capable hands, I'm sure. I'm wishing Sarawak Energy all the best. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Ting.
Thank you, Freda. Thank you.
All right. And we're on to our next session. And the much anticipated Renewable Energy Leaders Forum is happening in a few minutes right after this. So see you in the next session. Thank you again.
Thank you, Freda. See you.